Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I feel like a telephone commercial. Listen, guys, as much as possible, unless you're talking on some other private line or whatever on this call, let's all not talk at the same time, because otherwise we're not going to get anything from Mr. Lindell.
Okay.
Fair enough? Because apparently I can't unmute you, or I can't mute you, so since I can't and the only person gets muted is me, it doesn't seem to work well.
Just so it would be clear, if they ask the question, you can repeat it.
I'll do that. Okay, so let's do this then. Let's go on and pass all the formalities. I do have some questions here. Heather asks the question: How much of your day do you recommend imaging, or just in general? What are some general concepts that you may use for imaging, like finances, wealth, money, whatever? So, how much of your day do you spend imaging? Is that something you do all day long, Linda, or is that something that you do passively? How does that work?
Actually, yes. You do it all day long if you can. But of course, you're going to be interrupted here, there, and everywhere, and you got your daily do this and do that. I understand that. But if you have a goal, dream, the only way you're going to find fulfillment you're looking for is if it comes through you, not to you. Not on the without, it is within you. Your world of experiencing every day, that you're thinking ahead of your evidence now. Whatever you're looking to do, whatever you're looking to have, to be, is already with you. All you have to do is recognize it. I mean, that's the way guys put it. All you have to do is recognize it. Now is the appointed hour of desired change. So start right now, not tomorrow, because then you'll forget it. I know, because I did it 1,000 times, it seems like. But if you really want to remember it, then say it again and again, hear it again and again, reiteration. I mean, it's how you learn everything that you really remember. So it's really wise to check this out for yourself, because nobody can do it for you. And self and risen. That's the drama man. Did that start him off enough?
I think so. Since I'm not getting a question by way of chat, one person, do we have a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Please.
In regards to that, Neville talks about letting go. So if we need to keep imagining the whole time, what about letting go? Where is that part of the process?
No, you're absolutely right. It is part of the process. The process of letting go, that's difficult, because the mind is not really on your side for change. The mind likes it the way it is. It likes routine. But if you'll be insistent, if you'll be persistent to change your mind, you'll change your world, because the first does the second. It's not up to you to do the work. It's up to you to choose this day. And that's what he gave you. Choose this day. And of course, in case you're not aware of it, it's always this day. So you're in control even if you're out of control. So it's better to be aware and be in control than to be out of control. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Next question.
Is that it?
No, I'm sure a lot of questions are out there. Okay, go ahead, please.
Hi, yes. Lindell, you talk a lot about, of course, change your mind, change your world. And I'm sure we all grasp that concept, but certainly if there's a big desire out there that we're trying to consciously create, and we're seeing something in front of us that is not reflecting back to us what we want to see, doubts and worries creep in. And we can do our best to sort of, be disciplined in our mind to move away from those things. What are your thoughts on those when you kind of get pulled out of the ideal mindset or the ideal state and into those moments? Can you still say to yourself, even though I'm feeling doubt, I still know it's going to happen, and that is okay, that will suffice?
Look, you're in control all the time, whether you're aware or unaware. All we're suggesting is that more aware is better, because you're always thinking ahead of your evidence. If you get 2 minutes, you have a valid say, as valid as anyone else in the world, king, queen, or whatever.
Right.
So your say is what your world is to you. What do you think about you? Don't worry about what's going on around you. If you know you, then you're on your way. As long as you don't know you, then you're just another one of us stumbling around out here trying to make things work.
Does that mean that if we have a doubt that we've sort of messed everything up?
Well, actually, no. You'll doubt, and you'll doubt on down the line, maybe for months or years. But it's you who has to change your mind to change your world. And you see, the thing of it is, the first one does the second one. Change your mind does change your world. You're not to make your world work. You're only to choose it. See, choose this day as you think you are. You know, I had a deal here. This lady called me about, she had a medium. Yes, you'd say a
spiritualist.
And she said a lot of beautiful things, and that I should think on things that are nice, that are, wonderful for me, and my dream and that. And then she charged me $50. And I said, I can tell you your future in 5 words for free. As you think you are, and also you do, you have, you be. So it's up to you to change your mind. God will change your world, because he said he would. If you believe in God, you believe God's promises, he said, if you turn to me, I'll turn to you.
I guess I'm still a little confused by it, because are you saying that we only start to change our world when we are 1,000% totally sure and trusting and believing 100% of the time? Or is it okay if we have, shakiness, but still...
We all have those problems.
Okay.
I mean, I've been doing this for 45 years. And I still have to, when I get up in the morning, I start off with the thought. That it's going to be a pleasant thought. And I carry it as long as I can. And then as I do, then the world just seems to just soften for you. Look, as you think you are. That is the word from Scripture for every child born of a woman. And then also it tells you this. They themselves are makers of themselves. You get it? You're the maker of yourself. You're the cause of whatever takes place in your world. And you may not realize it because you don't remember when you thought that. But you see, consciousness doesn't forget. As you think, you are. And unless you change it, stop and start again. Change your mind, change your world. Start to change right now. What are you changing? I don't know. What are you thinking about? Is it lovely and a good report? Is it leading you where you want to go? If it isn't, well, stop it.
Okay.
Just stop it. Come on. As you think you are. That's the message. That's your fortune. That's your everyday experiencing in the future. Look, whatever you're talking about right now is not falling into the past. It's being projected into your future. You're always thinking ahead of your evidence. So that means that you're in control to change the evidence of your experiencing. You're thinking ahead of it, wouldn't you say?
And let me add this, if it's okay. What he's not saying is that we don't have doubts. We all have doubts. I'm in the process of completing a book, for example, and in my mind's eye, I see this book being But I get off track when I'm doing the process and say, am I really going to make that much of a difference? It's natural for doubt to come. What he's saying, though, even when you get off track, don't stay there. Get back on the track of what it is that you want to manifest. You're going to stumble, as we all do. So It's not 1,000% me staying on this particular thought, and if I don't stay on this thought, then it's not going to manifest. Whatever we give our predominant thoughts to, that's what we're going to be manifesting. So you're going to stumble. It's okay. And he's telling you when he wakes up, his goal is to stay on track and to go in a certain direction, but then life happens, and sometimes some of those things in life kind of throw us off a little bit. But because we know these principles, we're able to get back on track sooner. Would you agree, Lindell?
Yes, I would. And, the thing of it is that you make a judgment about your day. Every little incident that you're aware of, you make a judgment. But you're told not to judge. Don't judge by appearances. Because if you do, all you're doing is you just keep going on and on and on with the same routine. Change your mind is what you're looking for. Change your mind does change your world. That's the promise of God, that if you will turn to me, I'll turn to you. I mean, that's an invitation from God. Why wouldn't you be turning to God if He's invited you? You're told go in the closet, close the door, and when you're alone, speak to your Father which is in heaven. If you're alone and you can speak to your Father in heaven, then Jesus was telling you the truth. I and my Father are one, even as you and I are one. He's with you. He'll never leave you. Omnipresence. What more do you think you need to know? Oh, just focus on it. What has your attention has your life. There it is. Wouldn't you say?
Okay, so let's try to do this. I don't know if that serviced you, but I want to give someone else a chance to, because I know there's a lot of questions out there. So, and somebody else may even touch on what it is that you're seeking, but I think that in part we may have gotten to it. Does anyone else have a question?
I have a question.
Please.
Yes, I met Neville when I was 4, and I picked up his books and started reading them when I was 7. And I have to admit that over the last over 40 years, it's been more on than off. And my question for you, Lindell, specifically is you talk about how you read it, you heard it, and it made sense and all, and you say, I know that. But what was the, I guess you could say, event in your life or moment in your life where you actually decided to start practicing what you preach or practicing what you've actually learned? Because it's only been in the past couple years that I've actually got serious about it.
Yes, I do understand exactly what you're saying. When I heard Neville say that imagining creates reality, it just went through me like lightning, and I had a revelation. And that started the whole thing, because in other words, thou shalt decree a thing. So what you're looking for is right with you if you'll decree it so. You're told, choose this day, today, always this day. So choose it. To lose it is what actually it is. You're either aware you're doing so or you're unaware that you're doing so, but everybody is choose this day. Because that was the whole idea that man, actually we're told that they themselves are makers of themselves. It's a self in self and risen drama. Did I get the question?
Right. I guess what I was saying was specifically, what was it for you that made you actually start taking it seriously?
No, actually,
you had taken it seriously.
What is it for you that will make you take it seriously?
Yeah.
You see,
I'm just fascinated in your story. I know what caused it for me. I actually argued with someone, and I thought I knew everything, and I started actually looking at what they were saying, and then it was like, oh, wow.
I know
I don't know this stuff.
This is a first-person show.
Yeah.
And as long as you're careful and you're not letting ego run the show, you're okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, my question is, I guess it's about action versus inaction, and how do we determine when we're like forcing something? Like, say, for instance, we want to create a large desire or a large sum of money consistently per month, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I'm living in the end. You're doing your imaginal scenes and everything. And how do you know when to move or when to take action versus getting in the way of what should naturally happen?
Nobody gets in the way. It's all you. As you think you are, not how somebody else thinks. It's as you think you are. Mm-hmm. That really tells you the story if you really sit and contemplate, meditate on that idea and bring it up often enough that you really remember it when you need it. It's there if you'll plant it, and you're planting it as a mindset if you keep remembering it. And that's an answer to your question, but I'll answer it differently if you want me to.
Yeah, because I think what he's really looking for is how does he know when to take action or get out of his way?
Right. Now.
And the reason I ask, because I think in the book The Power of Awareness, and the question was asked, what do you do in between that time? And he says nothing. And that's why I get kind of confused. Like, what do you, like nothing? Like, do not do anything but imagine?
During your contemplation, you are when you go in the closet and close the door and talk to your Father, which is in heaven.
So is he to just wait as he's in the silence and he's waiting to know when to take that action? You're saying basically listen to Father and Father will direct. Is that the response?
Look. All you're told to do is be still. How long can you be still? Long enough to get the benefits from the stillness. That's where the magic is, in the stillness. But you're told to go into contemplation and meditation. It's about an attitude. All the great minds down through the centuries have said that man is his attitude. That's his life. Man's attitude is everybody's heard it. Your attitudes either make you or break you. I'm sure of that. And that's exactly it. It was said very simply, but it's very true. And if you won't sit and actually self-examination yourself, which we're told that the unexamined life isn't worth living, and that's true, because you don't know how to choose. And that's what you were given. Choose this day. And you're doing so. It's not a request. You're doing so. And because you are doing so, are you aware of it? That's all these talks are about, is to make you aware that your life is what you think feelingly about. Subconscious mind was given a contract by God to make your world as you think feelingly. Take it from there.
And I want to add this because I heard in his response your answer. Now, it may not be the answer that most of us want, but ultimately, there is no wrong action, but you choose the action. And when you have that peace of mind about taking a particular action, then you move. When something's revealed to you to stop in that particular direction, then you cease. But you will know, I think that what we all want in life is a blueprint to say stop and go. But it doesn't work like that. Life says you take the action, and life will show you as a response to your action if you're headed in the right direction.
Actually, everyone is, if they would only recognize it. Because You're getting benefits that other people have made. I mean, just look around this room right here. There's hundreds of items that electronic stuff and all of that. We get this stuff by others. So what I'm saying to you is that you can create your world of experiencing step by step. You're told, change your mind, change your world.
So bottom line is, what he's saying is you're the guy choosing. You determine when the action is optimal.
That's it. You're making a choice. Whatever you think upon grows. In other words, ideas come in to fill the void of what you don't know. It's always acting on as you think you are. Can't change it. He's not concerned with what you're thinking about. Not going to question you at all. As you think you are. And that's his work right there. Subconscious mind is just to make your world a you think of you. That's it.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Any other questions? There was a young lady that had a question. You can go and ask your question.
I have a question too. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. By your experience, if you know what defines the time between the first moment when you decide what you want and start assuming that state and the accomplished assumption in this world?
Faith. If you have the faith to stand on what you ask for as received, when you pray, believe that you have already received that for which you ask, and you shall have it. Shall have it. Not maybe. Shall. You know, do you understand that you're operating the power? There's only God. So there's only one power. Everything else is just a little derivative, like plugging in a socket somewhere to the power. But you're using the power. Not a power, not a little power. Your thoughts make up your world of experiencing. If those thoughts are righteous, in other words, you thought about them and approved of them, before you let them go out and vibrate to the universe, because that's what you're doing. Every word must be accounted for. You're thinking feelingly about what? What do you want? Because what you're looking for is looking for you. So make sure of what you're looking for, something you want. Because, look, why sit and dream up monsters you can't handle? That's what people do. Then they run to God, please help me from this. Save me. And he goes, I don't know you. He only knows you who you worship. And you worship God by using his gifts. And you have the gifts, because how can you worship him with the gifts unless you already have them? So you already have them. Look for them in self. It's feeling. Look, man's attitude is his life. Just get a better attitude, and you'll see the benefits of having one. When you say?
Another question, please. Ask your question, please.
Okay, so you just said that basically, well, I guess my question is, the way you honor yourself and God would be to use the powers and the tools that lives within us.
They're the same one. They're all right there where you are. God,
so I guess what I'm asking is that our way of basically reaping the benefits, is acknowledging that and honoring that power within us?
Just acknowledge it. Just verbally acknowledge it to yourself over and over. It'll suddenly soak in, and when it does, you'll understand it, and you'll know that you were right to do so, to keep following through. Because, look, if you stop, it all stops. Because you were given to choose this day, and if you choose to stop, okay, that's it, it stops. You got to be persistent. You got to be consistent. I know nobody's aware all the time. I'm very aware of that. But be aware when you are trying to say something to yourself, because you're always suggesting to yourself. But what? You see, because subconscious mind isn't going to question you. It's only going to make your world according to what you're thinking feelingly about. So think feelingly about you dream to have, to do, to be. You're told in Scripture, be it. That's it. So you do have in yourself to be it.
So there was another young lady that was asking a question at the same time. Ask your question, please.
Oh, hey. So I have a question about the dreams, because Neville had that experience, like with the dream and the pig. That was some, symbol for him to before his imagination. Yeah. And do you think the dreams has some sense for us, or that we can improve our intuitions about dreams? Or there's something that are just random and nonsense, and we decide if it has sense or not? What is your experience? Thank you.
DiCarlo.
Yes, let me explain. Her question is it possible that we can improve the quality of our dreams, or are we stuck at fate and we just basically have to receive the dreams that come to us?
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Actually, you are setting the stage for whatever you're doing, aware or unaware. The only thing I can tell you is to be more aware of what you're thinking feelingly about, morning, noon, and night. Actually approve of your thinking. You're told not to imagine mischievous imaginings. That's those monsters I was talking about. You sit around and dream up and then run to God to get rid of them. And he's saying, I don't know you. And he doesn't, because you're not, we're told we receive not because we ask not. So that means you're asking, or you're asking amiss. And asking amiss is actually just exactly that, asking for what you don't want. And people are saying, I asked for this, but I didn't get this. I know what you got. You got what you expected. That's what everybody gets. No matter how many, they get what they expect, not necessarily what they want, unless they happen to be the same thing. So that's right now. I just told you how to get your prayers answered. If you believe God's promises, he tells you, if you'll turn to me, I'll turn to you. And he already has said he would turn to you, so on his side of the equation, it's already a done deal. He's already said yes, just ask. Said you receive not because you ask not, or you're asking amiss. And that asking amiss is what you don't want. You judge by appearances and you keep just repeating yourself. Because you're in choose this day. And it's always this day. Always this day. And you're given to choose it. And it's not a request. You are choosing it. And if you're doing a bum job, well, back up a little and look at what you're thinking about. Because that's your bum day. You chose it. God's not denying you anything. All denial, we're told quite plainly, is self-denial. You're denying yourself what you want by not thinking from it. You all may be thinking about it, but this is about thinking from it. That's claiming, and that's what you're to do, to claim what you want, not want it.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Okay.
And I apologize for not using your name, but I kind of thought that was you, Jerry, but I said, let me go in and not assume. So, and after Jerry, the female that also said that she had a question, you'll follow Jerry. Go ahead, please.
I have a very recognizable voice, I guess. My question is, I'm having a conversation on the side over here with a friend of mine in Australia, and we're picking up the ideas that thinking and attitude are the focus, but there seems to be an absence of feeling is the secret. And so when Neville teaches, he tells us to go in and see the scene or whatever. Is that just a tool or technique, and you've simplified it to a level of, look, you're thinking ahead of your evidence. It doesn't really matter what scene you're imagining. Just think. Can you talk about that?
I didn't get part of your question there, that last part.
Hey, Jerry, elevator pitch, one sentence. What are you wanting to, you know what I'm saying?
What do I want to know?
Yeah, the question, if you can kind of narrow it down, because you kind of gave a lot.
Yeah, okay, so my question would be, Neville says feeling is a secret, and you're saying we think ahead of our evidence. Is this about imagining the scene, or this is our modus operandi that you're inviting us to live by?
Well, look, you're told choose this day. That's you personally, first person, present tense, you were given to choose this day. Let me ask you, did you choose this day?
I didn't hear that last bit.
Did you choose this day?
I have chosen this day.
Well, there it is. You're given choose this day. If you don't choose it, well, then it's chosen for you. You're either deciding or you're being decided for. Now, I have, on private interviews, people tell me all the time how they feel they don't have any even existence because they're always chosen for. But you see, that's the individual. They enslave themselves to others to be chosen for because they don't choose for themselves. And that's all you're really doing. You're just you're not actually awakening to that point, but you are stirring, so to speak. And it is right at the door of actually reaping the benefits of thinking feelingly about things that are lovely and of good report. Because we don't do this. We look at the world and we judge by what's going on, and you're told not to judge, but by judging, you're actually taking part in it. And that's not building your dream. Look, what you think upon has your life. Because you're giving it your life, your attention. What has your attention has your life. Pick out something that has your attention that answers your dream, and you're on your way. And it's really that simple. People think, well, because how could it be powerful and be that simple? No. You who are simple. You're not awake to it. You're not feeling after it. And you're told, feel after him and you'll find him. You, doing, being, having. In the theater of your mind, your imagination, what are you doing there? If you know what you're doing there, you'll know why you're where you are. And if you want it different, it's up to you to change your mind, change your will.
Let me interject something because I hear what Jerry and his friend was stating. You guys sometimes miss when he's talking about thinking, he's incorporating feelings, your emotions. So when he says it, he's incorporating all of that. Even when he was just talking, he said thinking feelingly, and if you weren't listening, it would have passed you, and you'd have still thought that he was missing the feeling aspect. He's assuming that most of us understand that in part of the manifestation thought process that feelings and emotions are part of the deal. So, like I said, sometimes things are being said, like I said, he said thinking feelingly, and many of us probably missed that he even said that, and it was just a part of the flow of his conversation. So he's assuming that we already know that, and so it hasn't been incorporated in saying feeling is the secret, but he's well aware that, of course, feeling is the secret. Anything you want to add to that, Mr. Lindell?
No, that pretty well covered it. I thought that was a good explanation.
Okay.
I hope it answered your question. Thank you.
Young lady that was after Jerry.
Yeah.
Ask your question, please.
Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I would like to know the difference between an inspired action and action that you just want to do it because you just want to get what you want. Because sometimes I want to do something, but I don't know if it's an inspired action. How could I know that it's an inspired action that would lead me to what I want?
Well, I don't know, but I thought I made it pretty clear. God gave you choose this day. That includes whatsoever. Now, that's not a slang word. That's actually in the Scripture, that whatsoever is what you're given to choose this day. So all I can tell you is that go into the silence and play with it. Whatever your dream is, your mission, your goal, go and play with it. Just sit still and just play with it in your mind. And you'll find that it will attract ideas to expand the original idea. It will keep attracting other ideas that will cause it to expand. So you're in control. You get the question?
I didn't hear like the last part of it. I'm sorry.
She was saying about the your response. Basically, his response to you was, you're given to choose. So, and I'll add this, good, bad, or indifferent, whether you're talking about inspired action or not, you're the God choosing. And so the manifestation and so forth is given to you to choose. God's given to you the choice. Would that be correct, Lindell?
Yeah, actually, that's it. I mean, it's like you didn't go pluck a Mercedes off the tree. That's in other words, it was all here. It's all right here, right under our feet for the most part. But it is that what you want is nearer than your hands and feet. Understand? It's that near to you. All you have to do is claim it. You're told, son, all I have is yours. And that's male, female. All I have is yours. He gave you even himself. I will never leave you. Omnipresence. What more do you need? Just sit and think on these, and then when you actually make a prayer and asking for, you'll be confident. And that's all you need, because man's faith in God is measured by his confidence in himself. So, you don't have the confidence, go sit in the silence, take your idea, mission, goal, dream, and fulfill your head with it, and think upon it religiously. Would you say so?
Absolutely, absolutely. Is there another question out there?
Yeah, I have a question.
Please.
Yeah, regarding the promise, that's something that's very interesting to me, and I wonder if we can bring about the promise by using the law.
You bring the promise by believing the promise. Do you believe the promise?
Yes, I do. But is there something I can do to make it happen faster?
I can tell you how to make it faster. Go in the closet, close the door, and when you're alone, deliver it yourself. I'm with you always. Okay. I will never leave you. What else do you need? We look upon all these things as being so difficult, and they're really so super simple. Because that's usually the first question I get is, can you make it simple? Well, it is simple. That's the problem. It is simple. We're trying to figure it out. Don't figure it out. It's a revelation. But you have to be still. God is not going to interrupt you for anything. He gave himself a prime directive not to interfere. He gave you choose this day, and we're doing so, and we see the results of our doing so, and we think about it, and then we think from it, and then we be the better person that we think we should be. And that's all there is to it. It's as simple as that. And if I tell you it's that simple, then everybody who's listening ought to be able to start this day. This day. You're told this is the appointed hour. It even brings it right down to it's down to this hour. Choose this day. Do so. Actually choose it. That's how you should start it off. Looking forward to what you've just chosen to do.
Okay, so just assuming that I experience the promise in my imagination, that would help?
I didn't quite get it. You got that
I did. His question was, so him experiencing the promise in his imagination, will that help? The only way that you're going to experience the promise is in your imagination.
Of course, that's right. You're absolutely right. That's it. All you have to do is just focus. The whole thing is about you focus. What you're focused on, you're experiencing, you're doing, you're being, you're having, whatever has your focus. So if you want a different focus, you shift it to something else, another focus. That's all you're doing. Change your mind, change your world. And that's the whole story. If you're not liking what you're doing, he told you, change your mind. You don't have to make it so. You changing your mind makes it so. First does the second. So if you want to change, there it is.
Let me add this also about the promise. You don't force the promise by human will. You receive the promise. And as Lindell's been basically letting you know, when you go into the quiet place, because I know many of us want to experience the promise. Beautiful. Go into the quiet place in the silence of your mind, whether be it before you go to bed, with the expectancy of receiving the promise.
You want to know how to believe. You expect, believe what you ask for. And that's all there is to it. Like I said, it's very simple. Wouldn't you make it so simple you can't miss it? And as you think you are, and that's touted again and again throughout the scripture. As you think you are, you do, you have, you be. Because that's what you have imagined is what you're experiencing. To experience different, set and imagine different. God is the imagination in man. But he gave you choose this day. And he tells you, I suffer with you, but you behold me not.
Yes, thank you very much.
Any other questions as we're winding down? Go ahead, please.
Okay. Do you think it's better to focus on the specifics of your desire or just to focus on what's best for you?
No, you don't have any idea of what's best for you yet. So yeah, just focus, give it all the details in your imagination that you possibly would think that you'd be experiencing if it were all now. And it
But
is.
what if the specifics that you're focusing on are not necessarily, because we don't know what's best for us? What if those specifics?
Just what do you want? Do you know what you want?
Well, I guess the answer is no. I think
okay. See, how can you get what you don't know you want?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you decide what it is you want, start thinking from it as it being in your experience right here, right now, in imagination, in the theater of mind. Be it, do it, and you'll have it.
You can ask your question, please.
Yes. So, and thank you so much to Carlo and Lindell for this opportunity. My question kind of piggybacks on her question, actually. She kind of started it off, so it's good that she went first. So when my hang-up has always been the significance of what I want, if that makes any sense. Like, I want to make sure that what I want
doesn't make any difference at all. It says choose this day. There were no parameters on it. You understand?
Oh.
In other words, you can choose anything.
So let me just ask this one question. So because there's this part that Neville talks about the significant call that you kind of achieve to. So what I choose today doesn't necessarily matter. Once that call comes into place, it'll just step in, basically. Like I don't have to figure that part out.
Well, look, God is not going to be involved in making your decisions. You understand? Because he could dream for God just as it's a dream for you. He gave himself to you. You're running the show. Are you running it where? In the ditch? I ran in the ditch quite a few times.
Got it.
You think she got it?
I think she got it. Okay, as we're winding down, we're going to put it out there to anybody else has a question. Your question, please.
Okay, yeah, so Lindell, if you can share, if you want, if you can share a story or something about Neville, because many of us, well, read a lot about him, and we would like to know more about him. Maybe how was your relationship with him or something that's interesting?
Let me say this to you. If you have everything you want, fine. If you don't, then why not pay attention to getting what you want? And that my relationship with other people or how I got it or what, it's how you get it. This is your message. I'm delivering to you your message. That you use this message, that you change your mind, you change your world. That's all the message is. What I do in it, that doesn't matter because, the thing of it is, I have a life, and I really like it. And when I get 1,000 calls in a month, it's ridiculous. People asking questions that are already answered on the CDs. I mean, there's 4. Did you hear the 4 CDs?
No, I haven't.
Okay, they're on. You can get them from DiCarlo, but the thing of it is, you see, it's as you think you are. That has nothing to do with anyone around you, your environment, the government, as you think you are. So what are you thinking about? Are you judging by appearances because you see it? In other words, a man told me, well, if I can't see it, I can't believe it. And then I said, well, then you're assured never to have it. Because Scripture's had it for thousands of years. Believing is seeing, not seeing is believing. And that little difference right there caused man so much heartache he couldn't believe it. Just that difference makes the difference that you're looking for. Because what you're looking for is looking for you. So just be sure you want it. Okay?
I know that many of you are interested in the story of Lindell. Lindell is about giving you your message. You can ask it in a few different ways. He's pretty much take it back to your message because since he and I have been talking, this message has never been about him. He's always saw himself as the messenger delivering the message, but he does not want to be the focus. One day he may decide to talk about himself, but that's not his goal. So for all of you who have curiosity or whatever, this is your message. And I just wanted to say that. There was a young lady that had a question. What was your question, please?
Yeah, I have a question. I have the capacity to remember, like, the origin of my belief sometimes when I go through silence. But I have a question that is always around in my mind. And the question is, what is the origin of this belief? Like, before I noticed it was created. For example, when I was a child, I learned something by a lesson that my parents probably taught me or something. But how, as the Bible says, nothing comes to me unless I call it. So how, when I was a child, how did I call this belief to come to me? Or why do I choose to believe in that?
Katie,
did you get it?
Be it. Got it? That's it. Just be it. in every sense of the word. Feel it in you. Feel it. Be it. Do it. Yours.
So, Lindell, let me put this by you. One of her questions was, when she was a child, how does she attract or manifest those things in her life? Is her main question.
Well, that's it. That's it. Think upon these things, and what you're thinking upon grows.
So it doesn't matter, child or adult, same thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's it. Whatever you're thinking about
Thank
is
you.
what you're going to be experiencing. Believe it. Every word must be accounted for, and it isn't falling into the past. It's being projected into your future, and you'll experience exactly the feeling that you're feeling at the moment when you're thinking it. That's it. All you have to do is just experiment with it and see for yourself. You see, this is a matter of doing it for yourself. I can't do it for you. You understand? I couldn't. If I could do it, I'd just walk down the aisle and touch everybody on the shoulder, and everybody would be great. But it doesn't work that way. It's as you think you are. Now, if you can change your thought, then you can change your world of experiencing. If you can't change your thought, then you can't change your world of experiencing. But God would not have told you to change your mind if he knew you couldn't. And if he's God, he knows you couldn't. If you think you can, you can't. You can't because you think you can't. You're denying yourself. It's all self-denial. God's not denying you anything. He told you to choose this day. If you're not choosing it well, stop and think about it and maybe choose a little better. And then when you see the results of better thinking, feelingly, then the hunger will come upon you, and then you're off on the road. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And as we're winding down, I want to touch something on the young lady's question. We're energy systems. So whether you're a child or an adult or an aged person, you're still energy. And as we know from science, quantum physics, and so forth, like energy attracts like energy. So even as a child, you're sending out energy. You know, when I interact with my grandchildren, for example, there's energy coming out of them, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. And according to that energy, we respond to one another. Lindell, in closing, what would you say to the audience?
Well, actually, what I generally say is be it. I mean, you're given choice, so just be it. Be what you're choosing. See, choosing it, that means you've agreed that it's good for you. But if you agreed what you're thinking isn't good for you, then just stop it. It's really simple. Just stop it. I mean, I know it sounds easy when you say it, just stop it, but if you say it a few times to yourself, you'll find it's pretty easy to drop something, to move away from it. As you think you are. You get in control of your thinking, and you're in control of your life. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Okay, and for some of you, Lindell had mentioned the CDs. If you're interested in the CDs or the downloads, you can go to Metaphysical Art Theater and the CDs as well as the digital downloads. This is not the last that we'll have of these calls. What I'll do is like we did this time, Jerry helped me with my signage, so I thank you, Jerry. But what we'll do is I like to do it once a month. So for you who are available at the time, the goal is to move from this conference line because there were some challenges. Some people have sent me notice, Zoom. So the goal is to move towards Zoom. My connection with Zoom is not the greatest, but I'll work on that. So we will have more of these calls, and you guys will be notified for those who are able to make the calls. I will also, on the Metaphysical Art Theater, and as well as YouTube, once I clean this up, get the crosstalk and all this stuff off of it, I'll post it out there so you'll be able to listen to the talk again and again, and maybe you'll hear next time listening something that you failed to hear this time.
The thing of it is that just hearing it once or once every so often, it doesn't sink in. You're not getting any benefits from it. You only get the benefits from it when you hear it over and over and over. And you know, the thing of it is that this is great. This really is great that you can get it out like this. But the thing of it is, you can't learn the message until you really hear it. It bounces off of you like bullets off of Superman, you know. to get it in so that it's of use to you. Of use. That's what you want. You want what you can use. And this is what you can use if you remember it at the right time. Opportunities are everywhere. But you don't recognize them unless you're focused. What did Neville say about that's the coin of heaven? In other words, what are you buying with your money? Because that's what you're getting. You're getting something for your money. This is your message, yours. We're just delivering it. I'm not telling you what to do, what to think, anything else. I'm just telling you this is your message. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't, good luck with that.
We're going to close here. We thank you for your time. And like I said, the message will definitely be out there for you. So it'll be out there soon. I'll, like I said, get it cleaned up and get it out there to you. Sir, I appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Here.